What's good, YouTube? My name is Coach, and in this video, we're going to be going over some of the commanders that I have in my personal collection. Before we begin, I just want to remind you, if you comment, like, and subscribe to this YouTube channel, you enter for a chance to win a commander every week. So what would happen is if you win, I would email you telling you which commanders you have the choice to choose from. You pick one, and then I would mail that commander to you. So if you comment specifically, it lets me know that you exist, and then I'll add your name to the list. All right, good luck. In today's video, like I mentioned, we're going to be going over these commanders. I separated them. Today's all about angels and elementals. I have about a ton of other commander decks to go over. However, to go over all these in one video, that would be too much of a... not enough time for that video, I suppose. So the first commander that we have here is Feather the Redeemed. This commander deck is really about creatures that are low CMC that take advantage of Feather's ability. So whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature you control, exile that card instead of putting it into your graveyard as it resolves. If you do, return it to your hand at the beginning of the next end step. So you basically get to cast multiple spells and reuse the same spells over and over again. So that's basically how this Feather deck is built. And obviously you can win via Voltron strategy as well with this commander deck. The next commander we have here is Shalai, the Voice of Plenty. This commander deck is actually a Trostani commander deck. This is a life gain deck. I just find that Shalai's ability to give other creatures hexproof and to put +1/+1 counters on creatures you control so strong that I make Shalai the commander of this deck. Shalai is great. I think the last angel we have here is a Traxxas, Praetor's Voice. A Traxxas deck gives you the option to play green, white, blue, and black. This is actually Voltron Tribal. So a lot of the creatures inside here have hexproof, and it's just about equipping your creatures with powerful auras and just dealing tons of damage. So on to the elementals. The first elemental that we have here is Lunar, the Apex of Wishes. So this commander deck is basically the Simic Strixhaven commander deck. That commander deck makes these creature tokens called fractals, and these fractals are creatures that are 0/0s with +1/+1 counters on them. And what I do is I run a Luna as the commander, and I run a ton of enchantments that give your creatures double strike, so that if I mutate Luna onto a 5/5 fractal, it makes Luna 11/11, and if all my creatures have double strike, I can attack with the Luna in one turn and deal 22 points of commander damage to win the game. It generally surprises people. This deck is actually incredibly fun. If you have a Luna lying around, I would definitely suggest building a deck that way. It's incredibly fun. The next commander deck that we have over here is Omnath, the Locust of Rage. Omnath is incredibly powerful. If you're just getting started in Commander or Magic the Gathering for the first time, Omnath is great. Omnath is easy mode commander. Whenever you play a land, you get a 5/5 creature. If that creature dies, it deals 3 damage to target creature or player. You just put a ton of lands in play, get many creatures, and attack. This deck is incredibly fun. Yeah, I put a lot of haste inside here too. The next commander deck that I have here is Philath, the World Sculptor. This is another landfall deck. This deck is all about double strike and trample, so that I can essentially pump up one target plant I control, because whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, put 4 +1/+1 counters on target plant you control. And then whenever Philath enters the battlefield, you create a 0/1 green plant creature token for each basic land you control. So you just pump up one land or one plant with a ton of +1/+1 counters, attack, give it double strike, and you're hitting people for 40 damage. And then we have Gigath, the Wellspring. This is the last elemental that I have here. This is actually the companion, which is Karuga, the Macro Sage. Karuga is actually incredibly important inside this deck, and I'll tell you why. This Gigath deck is a dragon tribal, or how do you say this? An Elder Dragon tribal commander deck. So Elder Dragons generally cost, their colors are all over the place. But because Gigantha taps for Wooburg, which is white, blue, black, red, and green, essentially you only pay the generic mana cost. So you're essentially only ever paying 3 mana because you're tapping Gigantha for these creatures that enter the battlefield. And because Karuga's in the deck, Karuga basically states that I can only have Karuga in the deck if all of the permanents I control cost 3 mana or greater. And because the dragons cost a lot more than 3 mana, it tended to be kind of easy. And it's a really nice source of card draw inside your commander deck that just kind of sits in the command zone. And there's mass reanimation spells as well, so you can mass reanimate, have Karuga enter the battlefield along with all of the other dragons, and then you just draw just a ton of cards. So that's this commander deck. If there's a commander deck that you saw over here that really stuck out to you, you can let me know in the comment section below, and I can make a Dech Tech video and I can upload a deck list for it, and then we can just have that conversation from there. So I hope you have an amazing day. Remember to comment and like and subscribe, and always remember, eat healthy, okay? Work out every single day, and most importantly, okay, you gotta believe in yourself, right? Peace.